Hi, Sandra here, the Misophonia therapist. So today's question is, what can I do if my manager at work isn't taking my condition, my misophonia, seriously, and I'm being tormented or harassed deliberately by my colleagues? Now, unfortunately, some people that don't understand what misophonia is are likely to be maybe fearful or frightened of it because they don't understand it. And unfortunately, some people seem to think it's appropriate to deliberately make those noises that you might have asked them to stop making, or maybe poke fun at you, or just tease you about it in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, or make you feel guilty for asking them to refrain from making whatever noise they were making. And I know that it's really, really difficult, particularly if you work in an environment with many people and you don't really have the option to find a quiet space to work in or use noise cancelling earphones. So what happens when you go to the manager and you tell them and they don't take you seriously, or they refuse to do anything about it? And you might get a response such as, maybe you're just being a little bit oversensitive, or other people have to work here and eat their lunch, or whatever. So it might be worth just perhaps taking a look to see whether the organisation you work for has a policy on harassment or bullying. Because if you feel that the person at work who is deliberately making noises or poking fun at you or laughing at you, if they're doing that, then yes, it constitutes bullying or harassment. And that might mean that your HR department has to take it seriously. And it's likely that there will be a policy on bullying and harassment. Now, of course, misophonia in and of itself isn't classed as a disability. And at least in the UK, if it was, it would be classified as a protected characteristic. And that actually means it's unlawful if the employer doesn't take action to protect you. And this isn't my area of specialism, by the way, but if you are being harassed or bullied or ignored, then there may be something that your HR department have to do to protect you, even if not required by law, if misophonia doesn't, it's not classed as a disability. But I think the first port of call would be your manager. And if you're met with indifference or a refusal to take it any further, then it may be worth just going over your manager's head and directly having a chat with HR. And you can even do this without it having to be formal. And if the HR person could maybe alert your manager and just say that you are really struggling to be in that environment with the person who is making the noise, then all the better. And of course, if you don't have an HR department, then your manager, or at least the person who is in charge of the organisation you work for, should certainly start to take you seriously if you were to think about making a complaint. But I do realise it's difficult. It's so dependent on where you work, the size of the company, and what policies they have in place. But as a final word, you shouldn't have to put up with it. You shouldn't have to adapt or modify your behaviour. And you certainly shouldn't have to apologise for asking people to stop making the noise that triggers you. And if you had a mental health condition or a disability or a physical health condition, certainly you would not be expected to apologise for that, or apologise for requesting that the organisation make some kind of reasonable adjustment. So be bold, be brave, speak up, and good luck. Thank you.